Opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's hosts, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it will be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock and time for
David Rodgers
On the
Show.
Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host, David Rodgers, alongside Mitchell Gunner and Byron Bagwell. Great to have you along. Say hello, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, everybody. Infidels and everybody else.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Miracle Automotive and Recovery in both Stark and McClinney. Call Kurt and Kenny Miracle at 904-368-1114. Miracle Automotive, where miracles happen every day. And by Brittany Leanne Creations, who, by the way, is helping in the construction of our new studios here in Stark, Florida, from photography to graphic design. Let Brittany help you be as creative as you want to be. Visit Brittany Leanne Creations on Facebook for more information. Let's get the show started, as we always do, with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll please bow your head. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for giving us this time to be able to do this show, dear Lord. For me to be able to be with my brothers, dear Lord. To bring this show to our viewers. And let our viewers take the information that we give and let them do what they see fit with it, dear Lord. Thank you again for a great week that you're going to give us, dear Lord. A great Valentine's weekend that you have already given us. Thank you for letting us live in the greatest country in the world today. The United States of America. The most freest and most freest country we have today in the world, dear Lord. Let us just keep that as we go. Thank you for our armed forces, dear Lord. Keep a hedge of protection over them as they are about protecting us, protecting our rights, our freedoms, and our liberties from domestic and foreign terrorism, dear Lord. Thank you again. Bring them home back safely to their families. Thank you for the food that we receive each and every day. It goes in the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Thank you again for all our first responders and everybody on the front lines, dear Lord, along with our military, as they're doing a great job to keep us free, dear Lord, and keep us safe. Thank you for our farmers, our truck drivers, and the everyday people that make America keep going as it is. Any spoken or unspoken prayer requests, dear Lord, that you touch each and every one of them. You know their wants, their needs. You are the ultimate healer and the ultimate comforter. And please touch each and every one of them. Again, thank you for letting us have this couple hours together, dear Lord. Thank you for everything that you do for us and that you're going to do for us, dear Lord. And we ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. And the congregation says, Amen. Let us stand for the pledge. And I'm going to ask Mr. Byron Bagwell if he will lead us in the pledge tonight.
I most certainly will, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host, David Rodgers, right alongside Byron Bagwell and Mitchell Gunner. Oh, we got Archie Waters, Dwight Allen, and the model, Sharon Petterprin, joining us right now. So again, welcome into Studio B. This is our newest studio, as Studio A, gentlemen, is getting some work done to it. Dave Holland, Michael Heater, several others are looking into bringing Studio A on board. So we're on Studio B. Again, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Judith Young Sally, how are you doing tonight? How are things going in Lake Butler? How about Miss Shirley Bagwell? Hey, whoa.
That's a surprise, didn't she?
She sure did. We got to get the surprise in here in just a little bit. But do you have a patriotic quote?
I most certainly do, and it most certainly fits the times.
Okay.
We must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker. It is time to restore the American precept that each individual is accountable for his actions.
That's got to be the great President Ronald Reagan, one of my favorite presidents. I know most of his quotes. Is that true, Byron?
Ronaldus Magnus.
Okay. I've got a question for you guys, just really quick. I know President Trump has done a great job. Before we move on, I know that President Reagan did a good job. In your opinion, just real quick, you don't have to, who's the better president, or who was your favorite president of the two?
I've got to go with Ronaldus Magnus. Ronald Reagan had 8 years, and Ronald Reagan did so much for this country during those 8 years. He's still, to me, he's still the best president of my lifetime.
All right, Michael Edom, Reagan or Trump?
That's a tough one. I'm a diehard Reagan fan, but I don't believe, even looking back into the late 70s and in the areas when he was fighting the liberal causes in California, I don't think that he faced such an uphill battle that Trump did. And to be honest with you, as great as Reagan was, he had, from both sides of the aisle, he had some support that really worked. Trump not only battled the liberal mindset, but dealt with the worst pandemic in over a century. So I think looking back on it, comparing apples to apples, in a tight race, I'm
you like Trump a little bit.
I think
Dave?
a little bit better.
All right, how about you, Mitchell?
I'm going to go with Ronald Reagan because, he entered the Cold War without firing one shot.
Yep. And I'm going to go with Ronald Reagan, too, because why? Hey, that Iran controversy hit it in 13 days. Hey, welcome in, Mary Salvatore, Marla McGrew. Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome into On the Spot with David Rodgers. Glad to have you along. Who else we have on there, Michael? We got Gail Allen. How about that? Good evening, Gail.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, all right. Well, let us continue on, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to have you back. Hey, don't go anywhere because, gentlemen, the 360 starts right now. This is the 360, your news and weather update. It is 360 degrees in 360 seconds. Brought to you by Southern Gem Photo Booth. Call 904-263-6079 and let Megan not only bring fun to your event, she can make it picture perfect. She also has a picture of Byron Bagwell with a man bun. A 33-year-old woman from Palatka is facing second-degree murder charges after shooting a man in the head Saturday afternoon. Palatka police responded to the 300 block of North 11th Street for a shooting where they found Samuel Mays suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. He died from his injuries at a local hospital. Bellamy is charged with second-degree murder. It is in the Putnam County Jail without bond. Marion County Sheriff's detectives are seeking help in solving a homicide that took place Friday at a rainbow gathering in Silver Springs. Marion County deputies located the victim, 41-year-old Larry Dwayne Duggar, at the event in the 2200 block of Northeast 196 Terrace Road at about 10:40 p.m. last night after receiving calls about a shooting. Anyone with information about the homicide is asked to call 352-368-3542. Those wishing to make anonymous tips can call Marion County Crime Stoppers at 352-368-STOP, stop, or 368-7867. Suwannee County deputies quickly located 31-year-old Devin Skipper, who escaped from custody earlier today. Deputies say Skipper walked away from a work detail in the area of County Road 136 and 161st Road, just west of Live Oak. Over the weekend, an astute Marion County deputy observed a black Volkswagen Jetta in the 9,000 block of Southwest Highway 200 that was reported stolen by the Ocala Police Department. The deputy conducted a routine traffic stop on the vehicle and detained Kiera Dearmas. A search of the vehicle revealed an exceedingly large amount of marijuana that was packaged for distribution. Dermis was arrested for possession with intent to sell and transported to the Marion County Jail. OPD also charged Dermis with grand theft auto. Ocala police are investigating a Valentine's Day shooting that sent 2 people to the hospital. It happened on Sunday morning on Northwest 7th Avenue near the intersection of US 441 and US 27. Officers say multiple rounds were fired at the home while the residents were inside sleeping. A 70-year-old woman and a 25-year-old man were struck during that shooting. 2 Bradford County deputies are being recognized for their life-saving efforts following an attempted suicide in the jail. On January 7th, an inmate, in an attempt to commit suicide, tied a sheet around his neck. Due to the quick response of 2 of our correctional deputies, he suffered very minimal complications or injuries. Corporal Scott Conkell and Deputy Paul Moody will be receiving a life-saving award from the American Police Hall of Fame on February 18th during the County Commissioners meeting. On January 7th, an inmate in an attempt to commit suicide tied a sheet around his neck due to the quick response. Oh, okay. Oh, while monitoring the cell, they noticed he didn't respond to the call out. They immediately responded to the cell and observed the inmate with the sheet around his neck and his feet were not touching the ground. Corporal Conkell lifted the inmate while Deputy Moody cut the sheet away. Quick response by those guys. The organizers of the Springing the Blues Festival, which takes place yearly at the Jacksonville Beach Seawall Pavilion, have announced that the 2021 festival, scheduled for April 9th through April 11th, 2021, has been postponed to April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 2022 due to the COVID concerns.
They're trying to ruin my birthday.
Mine too. 3 North Florida counties are splitting $75,000 in grant funding. The portion is part of $350,000 to be given to 14 rural counties for economic development. Levy County's Nature Coast Business Development Council will receive $25,000, while Suwannee County and Columbia County's Economic Development Departments will receive just under $25,000 each. A mother and her live-in boyfriend in Titusville were arrested in connection with a child drowning on Saturday. Titusville police arrested Amanda Davis, age 30, and Charner Williams, the 4th, age 30, charging the couple with aggravated manslaughter of a child. Goodness. Investigators said a 2-year-old child was found unresponsive in a pool at the couple's home. The roommate performed CPR on the child until the paramedics arrived. The child's mother and her boyfriend did not wake up until after EMS began working to save the baby. Inside the home, investigators found drug paraphernalia, which they said was easily accessible to the toddler. The mother, Amanda Davis, 30, and boyfriend Charner Williams, 30, are charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child and are currently being held without bond in the Brevard County Jail, where they need to be. The National Weather Service is investigating reports of damage and hail following the storms from last night. Emergency management officials around North Florida reported possible tornado damage in several counties, including Columbia County, Jackson County, and Calhoun County in the Panhandle. In Lake City, damage was reported on West High Point Drive and Pine Mount Road. In Jackson County, a mobile home sustained roof damage on Green Acres Lane in Alford. Calhoun County reported that a tree fell onto a trailer on Northwest County Road 274 in Alpha. These storms came on the heels of rain and storms that postponed the Daytona 500 for over 6 hours on Sunday. That's the latest, and now here is your weather forecast.
This weather report brought to you by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights. Find Austin's Weather Service on Facebook and have a detailed local forecast sent right to you.
Welcome in, Austin Stevens. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
How about the weather report?
Well, after the stormy weekend we had, it's now finally calm. Fort Bradford County is like a swamp now, but a golf ball size hail apparently has been reported over in Columbia County, along with possible tornadoes out west, as you said. We can now expect clear skies tonight with temperatures falling to around 40, rising to the upper 60s tomorrow with showers and thunderstorms yet again with another warm front moving through the area. Showers and thunderstorms will continue with temperatures rising to the lower 80s by Thursday. Then another cold snap comes in with a possible hard freeze for the Swanee River Valley. Elsewhere, a freeze with temperatures of 28 to 32. Unless you live in the Swanee River Valley, 26 to 30. Back to you, David.
Thank you for that weather update. Michael, with severe weather recap, buddy, what do you have for us on that?
Hey, well, as Austin just said, this is the tail end of the winter storm. Uri was the name of the storm.
Wow.
That first impacted the Pacific Northwest with heavy snow and
This weather report brought to you by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights.
Seattle had a 2-day snowfall total of nearly 1 foot of snow in Seattle, which is kind of unheard of when you're that close to the Pacific Ocean. Portland, Oregon, and other areas also picked up a lot of snow. We had thunder snow in Galveston, Texas.
No way.
And dustings of snow miles into Mexico, south of Texas. It was one of the first measurable snowfall in Galveston since 2008. In fact, in Lake Charles, Louisiana, remember 6 months earlier, Cat 4 Hurricane Laura made landfall with the eye passing over Lake Charles. Wouldn't you know it, thunder sleet, the temperatures in the 20s throughout the day today. At one point earlier this morning, it was 85 degrees in the Florida Keys and 25 degrees in Gulf Breeze, the home of Bill Edgerton, a 60-degree sweep of temperatures at the same time from one end of the Gulf of Mexico towards the other. Earlier, as Austin said, we had tornadoes that moved through the area. One of those tornadoes in Damascus, Georgia, struck around 4:45 p.m. yesterday. Damascus, as you know, is 70 miles north of Tallahassee. Some damage reported to several homes, but no injuries there. However, the worst of it was in North Carolina. 3 people were killed and 10 others injured after a tornado hit just after midnight this morning in southeastern Brunswick County, North Carolina, destroying several homes, snapping trees in half, and downing power lines that left thousands without electricity. Brunswick County, for those that are familiar with the area, stretches from Wilmington, North Carolina, along the Atlantic coast, down to the South Carolina border along Interstate 95. That's the recap on severe weather. Good news is, nothing like that coming up anytime in the near future. And, of course, Austin will keep us up to date on anything else that happens. Back to you, Dave.
Gentlemen, thank you for that weather update. We appreciate that. Hey, guys, get ready because, Thursday night team trivia is coming up on Thursday night. And guess what? We have the trivia answer. So here's your Thursday trivia hint.
The trivia answer.
No, you don't. Don't be lying to everybody. Here's a Thursday trivia hint. Each Tuesday night, we tease you with the answer to one of the questions from Thursday night team trivia at the Downtown Grill, hosted by yours truly, myself. So the trick is, we do not give you the question, Byron. You have to come out for trivia night on Thursday night to play. And the top 3 teams, of course, are going to win gift certificates like they always do from the Downtown Grill. So, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is your clue. And be sure to come out Thursday night at 7 p.m. for team trivia. The answer is, give me a drum roll, Bulldog.
What is Nancy Pelosi? Oh, sorry.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute now. You gave the question. It's Bulldog. You have to come out for that, though.
To find out what the
question is. And it may be 3 parts. Who knows? Now, here's your favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners, WEAG Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Vallis. And, of course, our great partners at the Bradford County Telegraph, John Miller, John Ryan and Elizabeth Tillman, Mark Crawford, and, of course, our sports director, Cliff Smelly. Here's what's the date. These are the headlines from the Bradford Telegraph during the first week of February and what year. Store robbed second time in 1 week. Melrose man arrested for theft from the church. BCSO, SPD arrest 8 in joint drug sweep. And schools won't help in fighting budget cuts. Was that February of 2009, February of 2011, or February of 2013? Store robbed second time in 1 week. Melrose man arrested for theft from the church. BCSO SPD arrest 8 in joint drug sweep. And schools want help in fighting budget cuts. Was that February of 2009, February of 2011, February of 2013? Here we go, just to give you a little help here. The Kangaroo Convenience Store at State Road 16 and County Road 233 was robbed for the second time in 6 days. The first robbery on February 3rd led to a high-speed chase that ended in a traffic crash that killed the robbery suspect. The second robbery, 5 days later, also led to the suspect fleeing the scene, but BCSO deputies were able to catch and arrest Taja Williams for armed robbery. Clay County detectives arrested Joshua Beck for a string of burglaries in at least 8 churches in Clay and Bradford counties. The arrest came after items stolen from the churches were identified by a pawn shop owner who led deputies to Beck. In a collaborative effort dubbed Operation Cooperation, city and county law enforcement arrested 8 people on February 6 in both the north and south regions of Bradford County. Bradford School Superintendent Beth Moore, remember that name? And staff worked feverishly to bolster funding after the school district lost over $1.8 million from the previous year, partly due to declining enrollments. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the chance for you to get in and play for a $25 gift certificate that we will draw a name out at the end of February. If your name is drawn, you will be the winner of that gift certificate. We're looking for your answers right now. So, store robbed second time in 1 week. Melrose man arrested for theft from the church. BCSO, SPD arrest 8 in joint drug sweep. And schools want help in fighting budget cuts. Was that February of 2009, February of 2011, February of 2013? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's where you got a chance right here to come in and try to give a guess so you can get your name put into that pool at the end of the month for that $25 gift certificate to where, Mitchell?
The Downtown Grill.
Man, great food there, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh-wee. Me and Byron eat that. All of us eat it. It's always good.
Good food.
So, Randy Brooks is watching. Mary Salvatore, as we said. Byron, good grief. Archie Waters, Shirley, Dwight Allen, Sharon Pettiprin, Samantha Cook, Fast Eddie Dorman. Sarge, what's up, Sarge?
Good evening, Sarge.
Judith Young Sally. Here we go. Benny Jackson, Gail Allen, Dwight Allen, again. David Versace, one of my schoolmates, is watching as well. Do we have some guesses, guys? What do we have?
We got Bart Norton is watching and
Bart
Sigmund is watching.
All right, there we go. Marla McGrew is watching. How about that? Brandy Gallion Smith is on. Roy Jackson is on. Let's see here. Jason Vaught. We'll get into some of that, Sarge. We're looking for some guesses right now. Michael, do you have any?
I do. I've got a number of guesses.
All right, give it to me.
Let's go. So, for example, we've got Archie Waters says 2013.
Really? Okay.
Judy Young Sally says 2011.
Okay.
So does Roy Jackson.
Really? All right.
Jason Voigt Dwight Allen both say 2009.
Uh-oh.
Randy Brooks and the model, Sharon Pettiford, say 2013.
Okay.
Funny you should say, Mom, Shirley Bagwell, 2013. As well as Benny Jackson, who says 2011.
Ooh. What does Byron Bagwell say?
I'm going to say 2009.
Okay. What does Austin Stevens say?
I guess I'll go with Byron.
2009. What does Donald Stevens say?
2009.
What does Michael Heater say?
Moving on.
Dave, what does David Allen say?
I'm going to go with Dwight Allen.
Okay.
I'm going to say 13.
All right. What does Mitchell say?
I'm going with 2011 because you got to think who was the super.
That was the giveaway. And you're exactly right. I'm going 2011 as well. So, any more guesses? Any more guesses? All right. Well, let's move on, Mike. I know. So, we got another one? Oh, okay. I got you.
Dwight Allen wants to change his guess to 09.
He wants to change his guess to 09. Yeah. Is that legal, Mike?
We hadn't discussed the answer,
okay.
So yeah, we'll give them.
Okay, 2009. Is that your final answer? You sure you want to go 2011?
Final answer. Yes,
all right, final answer. Store robbed second time in 1 week. Melrose man arrested for theft from the church. BCSO, SPD arrest 8 in joint drug sweep. And schools want help in fighting budget cuts. Was that February 2009, February 2011, or February of 2013? All right, and last time, here we go.
Lydia Moore says 2009.
Okay.
I'm going to call it right here.
All right, let's call it. Here we go. Let me check the answer. And the answer is, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it.
Boom.
February of 2009. Byron. My goodness. Anybody that said February of 2009, you get your name in the drawing at the end of the month. Somebody is going to win a $25 gift certificate from the Downtown Grill.
You know how I knew that?
How'd you know that?
Because we all had problems in 2009 because of the president that was in office.
Well, and that's
the party. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that wrong thing. All right, thank you all for joining us this Tuesday night. And now, here comes the round table. Welcome again, everybody. It's time for the roundtable. I'm joined by Mitchell and Byron. Thank you guys for joining in. Hey, this is where we changed up the show a little bit, guys. We usually have the roundtable at the end of the show. What we wanted to do, because ladies and gentlemen, this is your show, we're going to open up with the roundtable, and the phone line is now open. 904-458-7588. That's 904-458-7588. If you get a busy signal, you can leave us a text, send us a text, and we'll make sure we get that message on air. You can also try to call back if you wish. So, phone lines are wide open, ladies and gentlemen. 904-458-7588. Want to welcome in everybody to the show. Want to get to a couple of things, gentlemen, while we're waiting on the phone lines here. I know, but Mr. Byron Bagwell has got a lot of things to talk about tonight. A lot of things going on in the world today. A lot of things going on in our great country. And I know you've been researching a lot of stuff. You've got a couple of great topics that we're going to be discussing tonight, don't you, sir?
Oh, a bunch of them.
You want to tease somebody a little bit? You want to tease them a little bit?
It's something that you may not know, and this is actually more state than it is federal, but it has to do with the federal, too.
Sure.
Our wonderful governor had a message for our wonderful president, and I'm going to leave that where that is right now.
That sounds like a teaser to me. Mitchell, what do you have coming up with the local news and things going on in our region?
Well, we got some sports news that we want to talk about just a little
All
bit.
right.
And then I'll let you carry that on over until Saturday's show.
Okay.
But the start commissioner meeting city commissioner meeting was postponed until next Tuesday night, February 23rd, and that will start at 5:30.
All right, sounds good to me. Well, I'll tell you what. Hey, we're ready. Wide open. Phone lines right here. Here it is. 904-458-7588. If the line is busy, you can leave a message or send us a text, and we will read your message on the air. You can also, Byron, try to call back if you wish. Sure. So here it is right here. I'll tell you what. First caller tonight.
Hey, it's coming.
$10 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill for the first caller tonight on our phone line. That's 904-458-7588. You can talk about whatever you want. If you've got a question for the panel, if you've got a question for our weather guy, if you've got a question for our director, if you've got a question for our producer, it doesn't matter who the question's for. Call in. We'll figure out how to answer it.
How about the sock puppet?
Pass to your segment. Anyway, anybody want to join in? First caller, $10 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill. Give you a couple of minutes here. Gentlemen, glad to see you guys here.
Good to see you too.
I'm glad
we're all together tonight.
Absolutely. We had a great show on Saturday night, great sports show. Y'all need to go back and watch that. So, anyway, looking for our first caller. You can call in during the show. If you want to ask any one of us a question, please do so. We're going to move on. And guess what? We're getting ready for your segment now, right, Mitchell. And guess what? It's changed. It's called Watch the Scoop.
Community happenings and topics with our own local voice on current events, Mr. Mitchell Gunter.
Good afternoon, but first we have a caller on the phone.
Oh my goodness, we do have a caller. Who's on the line?
It is Judith Young.
Judith Young, Sally, how are you? Good evening, ma'am.
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
We're doing well. Thank you very much. You are the winner of the $10 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill. We'll make sure we get that to you, Judith. Hey, how's it going today over in Lake Butler?
I'm in Stark, actually.
Oh, are you? Okay, okay.
Yeah, I used to live in Lake Butler. I've been in Stark for about 2 years now.
I gotcha. Do you have a question for us, Judith? Anything that you want to talk about?
Well, I just wanted to get Byron's opinion on something I've been thinking about.
Okay, sure.
Trump, DeSantis, 2024.
You get a double thumbs up for me. I don't know what Byron's going to say.
Well, here's the thing about Trump DeSantis 2024. That would be a great ticket.
Yeah.
I would love that ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I would not love that ticket for Florida.
True.
And here's why. I think Governor DeSantis needs to stay the governor for Florida at least one more term. And there are other people out there that would be just as good as Ron DeSantis with Trump.
I've got to say, I'm going to tell you what. I know a guy that would be really good as a governor of this great state. He's sitting to my left. I think you ought to run for the governor of this great state.
Oh, no, thank you.
I can second that. I second that. I could totally see Byron Bagwell for governor of Florida.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Judith, I could as well. And let me tell you another thing. As long as Mr. Bagwell makes me the attorney general of this great state, I will support him on that. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. You got my vote.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I don't have any political aspirations right now, so I'm afraid that they'd have to put me in a glass box like they did to Poe.
Hey, Lee's already got a slogan.
Well,
Governor Man Bun. Here we go. We're going to get a shenanigan
up here in just a second here, I am sure. But Judith, thank you very much for calling in. Always glad to see you. Always saying good morning and everything. Again, thank you for calling in. We're going to get into a lot of things as the show progresses tonight, and hopefully we can answer some of your questions.
Well, one more thing.
Yes.
David,
Yes.
how did the ladies do the other night?
We're going to get into that, and you're going to love the area results that happened. We're going to get into that here in just a second as Mitchell gets into the first scoop.
Excellent. I'll be tuning in to listen for the results.
All right, thank you, Judith, for calling in. That
you.
was Judith Young Sally there. Great person. Loves Mopars.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Mopar, no car.
There you go. What do you got for us tonight, Mitchell?
All right, let y'all know the Bradford County Fair is coming up on March the 9th through the 11th. If you're interested in a booth, you can download the application from BradfordCountyFair.com. If you would like to purchase armbands in advance, they can be purchased from the Community State Bank of Stark and Lake Butler, the North Florida Regional Chamber of Commerce, and Laudy City Hall. The last day to purchase the advance armbands are on March the 8th. So if you want to get that discount, you need to get out there and grab them while you can.
Michael, I've got to ask you a question, unless Mitchell knows it. Why only a couple of days on the fair this year?
Actually, we're keeping the same numbers. What they did was they kept the same number of days. They moved it up a week or two earlier than normal.
Okay.
Historically, the fair always happens
during spring break, right?
Right, but because and I hate to say this, it was problematic. We had the same issue that came up with the Strawberry Festival, which I know that Mitchell's going to talk about that as well. But basically, we're kind of at the mercy of the population.
Okay.
The larger counties, with their spring breaks, they have more money. They pay for the fairs to come in.
Right.
We kind of get the little bit what you call hand-me-downs.
Right.
So we have to kind of go with what we got. That's why the reason why it's very difficult for us to plan the fair. Even if we plan it far enough in advance, money talks, and we have to kind of go with what we got here. So yes, every year the fair season changes, and that's simply because of the financial aspect of speaking to the fair companies, the rides, and everything like that one, and having them come in after they've scheduled with the bigger venues.
So if I'm not mistaken, Mitchell, 9th, 10th, and 11th, that's it?
That's it.
Oh, wow. That's just the way, like Michael said, it is. So anyway, we got some better news coming up.
Oh, yeah.
How about the sweetest strawberries this side of heaven, as Gordon Smith says?
He is absolutely correct. Saturday, March the 27th through the 28th is the 23rd annual Bradford County Strawberry Festival. There will be all different types of things going on. You'll have food trucks there. You'll have people selling the best strawberries on this side of heaven.
You got that right.
There will be a car and truck show on Saturday from 1 to 5 o'clock.
Yours truly.
That's right. And if you're interested in that car show, you can reach me directly at 904-966-1386. Now, if you're looking to set up a booth, you need to contact the North Florida Chamber of Commerce and speak to one of the ladies in there, and they can get you moving in the right direction.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a great event this year.
I think so, too.
Always have a good time at it.
Me, too.
Also, some other things that are coming up. The Bradford County Commissioner meeting is going to be held Thursday, February the 18th at 6 p.m. And this will be held down at the Governor Charlie Johns Conference Center.
Right.
So if you want to attend, you'll be able to see these two officers get their awards for saving that man's life.
Wow.
There at the Bradford County Jail.
Yeah.
Also, to remember that the North Florida Chamber of Commerce usually has its banquet around this time of year. That had been, canceled because of COVID. Rural County days are set for March the 10th and the 11th. Then they are also canceled due to COVID. Also coming up this March will be March 11th through the 14th is your NHRA Gator Nationals.
Right.
With mentioning that, we're going to have a couple of guests coming on to the show here pretty soon.
Right.
This Saturday we'll have four-time champion Erica Anders.
Ooh.
That drives the Chevrolet Camaro for Elite Motorsports.
Right.
And we were going to have Josh Hart
Right.
But that has been moved until Tuesday of next week.
Okay.
Due to some
scheduling issues. I got you.
Got to think these teams. They got a lot of stuff going on right here.
Right.
In the month of February, getting prepared because the Gator Nationals is the first event on their schedule.
Right.
For their season.
Right.
All right. Get into some news. Judith Young was absent, but the Bradford High School girls weightlifting team actually placed fourth in state.
Out of 100 teams, ladies and gentlemen, out of 100 teams. Yeah, Union County placed third, by the way, in that.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and David's going to have actually more of that on Saturday, as well as Hope Christian Academy. Varsity boys team, they won the Southeast Christian Conference West Division Championship.
Wow.
So I'll tell you what, we have got some really great athletes in this area. I want to mention something else. We get into COVID at our health department.
Right.
Right now, you can actually call and set up an appointment to get vaccinated for COVID-19.
Right.
They will be doing vaccinations on February the 17th and the 18th. And also, this applies for Union County's health department as well.
Wow.
So if you want to try to get yourself vaccinated, now they still are looking at age people 65 years and
over
older.
Still, right.
So they're still doing that. And also, please remember, you still have to get that second shot.
Right.
So try to get that scheduled as well as soon as possible.
Good.
That's okay. Real quick, just give you guys a heads up here. Mary Heater, who was able to got her second shot this past week, did an amazing job. They said that the system that's been placed for both Bradford and Union counties is literally seamless and flawless.
Wow.
They get you in, they get you out.
Really?
It took longer to get through the rain and the puddles than it was to get in, get the shot, and everything like that. If you haven't already scheduled it, contact the county health department and do an amazing job with that one. I'm very impressed with it. She was too, and she's done very well. Most everyone in Bradford County has had a very positive result as far as their reaction and their interaction with staff.
Right.
It's going extremely well. If you haven't already done so, give them a call and make the appointment.
Michael, I want to ask you a question backing that up. Somebody messaged me today, and I meant to tell you. They want to know how testing is going. Is there still a backup on testing? Can you still get in there and get your COVID test?
You can get in for testing. Bradford County Emergency Management Facebook page has the latest schedule for testing dates.
Okay.
That does not coincide with the vaccination dates.
Correct, and I wanted to...
They are separated. Same thing with Union County. Certain days are set for vaccination, certain days are set for testing. There is not a backlog. The health department reports, Dan Mann specifically told me that the system is working very well, and that it gives us an opportunity to be able to. You got to keep an eye on these guys. I'm telling you.
They're fighting over your cake, Mom.
But we got to pop them in the hand once in a while, but yes, but the system is going very well at that one. Again, Facebook page for the Bradford County Emergency Management has the latest updates. Bradford County Health Department, you can also give them a call at 904-964-7732.
Repeat that number again, Mike.
904-964-7732 for the Bradford County Health Department.
Nice. That's really good there.
I want to apologize to everybody. My phone was ringing. I'm on call this week. So
That's
every
right.
time that phone rings, I have to answer it. But I want to go ahead and get into some other stuff. The next Bradford County School Board meeting will be held on March the 8th.
Right.
Also, the City of Stark is looking for firefighters, EMTs, or firefighter paramedics to fill a position. So they only have one position. So if you're interested, you can actually send an email to sfr@bradfordcounty.gov. FL.gov for the application. In the City of Stark, construction continues on SR 100. Here pretty soon. Now, Michael, get this correct. That area that they just paved for the roundabouts, they are going to use that as they build the structure to go over the tracks, correct?
That is correct. The construction project, as reported in this past week, allowed us the opportunity to begin the system. The roundabouts are going into place, and they're paving over the new section of track That is where the new road is going to go in. Traffic will be diverted onto that probably in the next few weeks, at which point they'll begin tearing up the old road and putting in the overpass pilings that will allow them to be able to start paving the overpass. A long way to go on the project, but they're making good time in spite of the bad weather that we've had.
I think they're doing an excellent job, and it looks really nice. And I'll tell you what, I can't wait to see the finished product.
Mitchell, before you get into the COVID numbers, I do want to give out that phone number again. Phone lines are wide open for you guys. 904-458-7588. That's 904-458-7588. Phone lines are wide open if you want to talk to us about anything. Continue on, Mitchell.
Well, you know, here in the past couple of weeks, we've had a large amount of accidents on US 301 and 227. So I'm actually going to try to reach out to FDOT. I seen something driving on my way to Daytona to the 500, and they had signals up that will flash before the traffic light would change in a wide open area. So I'm going to see if there's any way possible that we can get those warning lights up in that area. To me, I don't know why we have such a hard issue of people crashing there. The lights are very visible. A lot of it's just drivers don't pay attention,
right,
and causes these accidents. But you know, if we try to put these safety precautions in, maybe they will help out.
Well, I know you're really good at getting some of that kind of stuff done. Anybody that watches this show or anybody that reads the paper knows that you're fully involved in these things.
And I tell you, I still haven't gave up. I'm still trying to find out information for 144th and 100 there in front of the gas station. What's going to happen? We have been waiting on warning lights there for a while as well because they post a flash when people are at that stop sign on 144th and Griffiths Loop. So we're trying to find that out right now through our Bobby Payne's office. So,
I want to say hello to Marla McGrew from Dick's Wings, owner Dick's Wings and Grill. They are watching the show tonight. Hello, Marla. How y'all doing?
So now I'm going to jump over here into COVID numbers. For the state of Florida, we've actually hit 2,531. Deaths so far in the state of Florida is at 29,434. Total fully vaccinated has hit a number of 1,103,298. New cases today in the state of Florida is 3,615. New deaths today was 159. First time vaccinated today, 7,164. Pediatric cases in the state of Florida are 200,805. With still only 9 deaths being reported.
Right.
Cases with kids K through 12 is now up to 66,399. So that has came up a little bit. In Alachua County, their total numbers are 22,549 with 39 new cases today, 214 deaths, and 16 over a span of a week. Baker County, they are at 3,314 with 4 new cases today, 54 deaths with 0 for this past week. Bradford County is at 2,863 with 2 new cases today, 49 deaths, and 2 for the week. Clay County, 17,092 with 40 new cases, 285 deaths, and 18 for the week. Columbia County is at 7,694 with 9 new cases, with a total of 149 deaths and 6 this week. Duval County is at 90,787 with 120 new cases, with a total of 1,097 deaths and 54 deaths this week. And Leon County is at 29,295 with 0 cases reported.
Okay.
With 295 deaths and 15 for this week. So
that's not good news, but
no, but I think we're making strides. A lot of people's going out. They're getting vaccinated, trying to fight this. And I tell you what, the governor's doing a great job. He is absolutely correct. Let's get those that are vulnerable, that are 65 years of age and older,
right.
Get them taken care of, and then we'll move on to everybody else.
Somebody asked me a question, gentlemen, and I give a Monday morning report, an All Tornado Sports Report and Update, right. And you'll hear this on there. Somebody messaged me earlier and said, is Bradford County schools required to wear masks? They are not. No, it is not suggested that you do, but it is not, ladies and gentlemen, I repeat, it is not required. So
just like it's not forced by our code enforcement,
right,
for people to wear masks while they go
right.
in and out of stores.
Right.
So with saying that, and that is your scoop, I'm Mitchell Gunner, and we'll be right back with Byron's World Report right after this message.
Schuster & Sabin is the leading firm in Florida with 8 offices from the Panhandle to the Florida Keys to handle your claims for personal injury, workplace violations, and PIP claims for medical professionals. Visit us online at www.piplaw.com or call 24 hours a day at 877-511-7829. Schuster & Sabin Law Offices for all your legal needs.
And now, with the latest national and international update, here is your World Report with Byron Bagwell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all of you infidels. There was you like that, huh? There was an incident in January of 2017 at K-Law Community College in Michigan. 3 students were giving out copies of the U.S. Constitution to passing students.
Right.
Dropped by Drew Hutchinson, this manager of the student life at KCC, who told them they cannot approach students outside or engage them in conversations because it could obstruct the student's ability to get an education.
Really?
Yeah. The incident concluded with Mr. Hutchinson having the students arrested for passing out copies of the Constitution. 1 year later, the college agreed to a $55,000 settlement and changed their policies, which led to the arrests. Which is a very good thing.
Which is a good thing.
It's one of the things that you hear that every once in a while that actually makes sense. Because it's what our government's guided by. And if the college students don't understand what our government's guided by, which they don't, half of them can't tell you how many branches of government there actually are,
right,
then what is the use in going to a college?
Right.
Or a high school, because for that matter of fact, because guess what? When I come out of high school, I knew what the 3 branches of government
absolutely. I want to welcome in all you guys to the World Report by the guy sitting left of me right here, Mr. Byron Bagwell. Just went over a couple of things. I know you got a list of things that we need to go over, and we're fixing to pound it right now.
Well, again, what I'm about to say is dealing with... I hesitate to even call this an impeachment because really what it was is political theater. People can say what they want to. There was no testimony in the House.
Right.
The Chief Justice of the
Who was presiding this?
Supreme Court was not there presiding over it, and you had a Democrat presiding over an impeachment hearing of a Republican president.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. You had that impeachment basically go along with the thought process that a sitting president incited an insurrection in the Capitol building. In order to actually incite something, it cannot be pre-planned. It was proved that it was pre-planned. So the other thing that you keep on hearing, or maybe you don't because the media is the way it is these impeachment managers basically made stuff up.
Right.
They changed evidence. They changed dates in evidence. These are the types of things that an actual sitting judge would look at and go, out. The whole thing's out. You made up evidence. You had a sitting senator,
right,
that they said one thing, and he got up and said, guess what? I never said that. I am under oath, and I am telling you, that event never happened. It had to be stricken from the record. This was a kangaroo court that used to be, you would expect to find in places like the USSR, going on with a president who was not even there. The constitutionality of this whole entire thing, period. Whether you think Donald Trump was right or wrong in what he said, and I can tell you, if you listen to his whole speech and you don't listen to those cut-up clips, you're not going to find anything wrong with it.
Which they played.
Yes, they did.
And they played over and over and over and over and over again Democrat politicians saying the same things about fight that they tried to push on Donald Trump.
Right.
Well, the problem with all of this is not, with me, is not with Republicans, it's not with Democrats. It's that when you push an impeachment trial in the manner that they push this impeachment trial, you alter our Constitution.
Amen. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether it's a Republican or a Democrat party that's doing that.
Right.
These are politicians. What they're going to do is they're going to take the precedent set with this, and they're going to try it at some point again. So the next time, it might be Barack Obama, or it might be Joe Biden, or it might be George Bush. It might be any president that's not sitting anymore that they try this with.
Right.
And I'm going to be flat honest with you. If you go with the actual precedent and the way the Democrat politicians did this impeachment trial, not only can they impeach Joe Biden, but they can impeach Barack Obama.
Correct.
And I'll tell you why. Do you remember sitting and watching an attack on one of our consulates in Benghazi?
Oh, boy.
Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember it very well. Yes, I do.
Do you remember Susan Rice coming on national TV and going, it was over a spontaneous demonstration over a YouTube video?
Right.
And then shortly followed by that, Barack Obama got on TV and said the same thing.
Right.
Well, come to find out, it was Al-Qaeda in Libya, who we were at war with at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So the leap is not too far to go, these people committed treason by not doing anything about our enemies attacking our consulate. They did nothing. Matter of fact, they stopped 2 generals and relieved them of command who were going to go anyway, which is actually an action. So be careful what you do, because you know what? When you mess with the Constitution like this, and you mess with the constitutionality of such an important thing as removing a sitting official out of our government, you best be careful, because you won't always be in power. The American public are fickle, and you can bet that the stuff that Donald Trump was complaining about, saying that the election was stolen, which there's plenty of evidence out there that there was.
Correct.
Things that happened that were illegal. They just were never heard. You can bet that those state governments that are in the hands of Republicans, Pennsylvania's one of them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can bet they're fixing the election laws to where that type of stuff won't happen again.
Oh, absolutely.
So in 2022, let's say what happens is all of a sudden you have a majority in the House, and you have a majority in the Senate of Republicans, and it's not far-fetched because Republicans gained a whole bunch of seats in the House.
Right.
They are 1 senator away from being a majority in the Senate. Okay? What's to say that you get a new majority leader in the House that is not a hothead, and he doesn't try to impeach Joe Biden? Because there are multiple things with this precedent that he set that can actually happen to that. I remember clear as day as Joe Biden saying this, and he said it 3 or 4 times. He wanted to take a sitting president outside of a gym and beat him up.
wrong guy to be doing that.
I mean that is threatening physical violence on the president of the United States, and it can be taken that way.
Right.
If you follow the precedent that the Democrats have just set through this.
Right.
This scares me because it will lead to never-ending nonsense with impeachments. Impeachments are supposed to be there has to be a high crime or a misdemeanor with this.
Right.
And the definition of misdemeanor now does not mean the same thing as misdemeanor did when the Constitution was written.
Right.
That's why you have to take it as an actual document that tells the government what it can and can't do.
Right.
Literally what it can't do, because that's what the Constitution does. Instead of a living document that you can manipulate and play with, because I'm telling you, we don't need this as an American people. We heard that there needs to be unity.
Right.
And I'm sorry.
Preached.
Okay.
By our sitting president right now and his vice president.
First off, I am not unifying with anybody that will twist the Constitution like the Democrat Party.
I agree.
Did. I don't care what you say. I don't care who you are. You're not changing my personal mind about that. And there's millions of us out there that are like that. We watched this nonsense and went, "You want unity? No, what we want is you out. Period." I have a simple question I am going to ask about this whole entire thing. If Donald Trump actually incited his supporters to do what they claim he did, he was going to,
right?
Do you honestly think that they would not have gone in and there would have been a whole lot of dead people in that building?
And that's exactly.
I am going to tell you, there are a lot of people out here that look at this and went, "This was a false flag. This was a setup."
Yeah.
Because if we come after somebody, you make us mad enough to come after you in the Capitol building.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of people dead.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
And this is why you know it's a setup. Because who can make 2 pipe bombs in 15 minutes and go sit one at the DNC and one at the RNC?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. The FBI warned Nancy Pelosi, and I want her to push this commission, because what you're going to find is the FBI actually warned Nancy Pelosi and wasn't Chuck Schumer at the time, it was Mitch McConnell, that there was a great possibility that something like this was going to happen.
Right.
They have fired the sergeant-at-arms of the House.
Right.
Okay, now, here's the problem with that. You know how things trickle down?
That's right.
That's not the sergeant. That is the sergeant-at-arms' responsibility.
Correct.
But if a certain Speaker of the House says, "No, don't do anything about it. I don't want any extra troops. I don't want any of this stuff."
Right.
He has no choice but to follow her wishes, because she is the Speaker of the House. This is a very, 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 very dangerous thing that's going on right now. And the other thing that really concerns me, there are seven Republican senators that actually voted to convict Trump. These people need to feel our first.
They're starting to get blowback from it.
Two of them are retiring, so they don't give a crap, which is terrible. You still should get blowback from that. They should be removed now.
Right.
And that's Burr and Toomey. The other ones are Burr is from North Carolina.
Right.
Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, who I have heard has been ripped up and down, upside down, and everywhere else. He's having his own family disown him over this. Senator Susan Collins of Maine, what a surprise. You need to talk to her too. Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, another great surprise. This one surprises me not at all, because he's really not a Republican. He is
yeah.
He's crazy. I'm just going to leave it at that. That's not what I want to say. That's not what I want to say about Mitt Romney of Utah.
A dingbat with an R behind his name.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney is a political puppet. The word I want to use is prostitute.
Okay. Well, that's fine. You can use that word here.
That's what he is. If he thinks the popular opinion is going to be one way, he's going to do that. If he thinks the opinion is going to be the other way, he's going to do that. He doesn't.
Right.
I mean, I can't stand Mitt Romney. I really can't. I didn't like him when he ran for president, but I had no other choice.
Right.
Ben Sass, and there is another great surprise. Nebraska, you really need to recall that one. All of these states need to recall these people. Because guess what? And Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania, another one, but he's not going to be there anymore, so he doesn't care.
Right.
Here's the thing: a lot of people will look at this from the other side and say, "I'm calling for the recall of somebody who stood up on his own moral values and decided that he was going to do something that was completely unconstitutional and the evidence didn't point to." Here's the problem with this. If you had a Democrat that did exactly what these 7 senators from the Republican Party did,
right,
they would already be recalled.
Oh, absolutely.
They would have started it the minute the vote stopped, and the majority of them would be gone, if not all of them would be gone. The Republican Party is from the states and from the county levels have already censured all 7 of them.
Right.
But the Republican Party needs, and I do mean needs, to remove these people from office. Because guess what? Everything that we do needs to be unified. Everything.
Right.
The Democrat Party does it extremely well. You look at what Republicans do, it is not unified.
No.
Mitch McConnell, you have not escaped my ire either, because guess what? I listened to your speech on the Senate floor, and you directly blamed Donald Trump. After you sit there and listen to evidence and voted not guilty, and then you want to blame him? You, sir, are just as bad as Mitt Romney, and you need to be removed too. You need to be censured first off and have your minority leader title removed from you, and then the people of Kentucky need to take care of you because that was completely unethical what you did.
Yeah, I haven't been happy with him a few times that he's got up there and spoke.
Well, I mean, how do you vote to acquit somebody and then turn around and say he was guilty and a speech afterwards? What is that?
This is Byron, Mitchell, Dave, Michael, and everybody that's listening trying to play both sides of the fence.
He's a politician.
He is a
true politician is what he is. He is not a statesman.
No.
He is not what the Republican Party now represents.
Correct.
After Donald Trump. And you could say you don't want anything to do with Donald Trump's policies. I'm sorry to tell you this. They're coming back because the American people understood what Donald Trump gave to us. Half of us. The other half of us only looked at him as the horrible orange man because he spoke up and told people about their rear end.
Right.
His policies made this country very prosperous in the
Yes,
last
it
4
has.
years up until this pandemic hit. And if the blue state governors would have actually followed the model that Florida has, guess what?
This wouldn't be...
The economy would still be fine. It wouldn't be booming like it was before the economy, but it would still be fine.
It would be turning the corner and on an uprise, for sure.
And we all know unions are backed by the Democratic Party.
Well,
but what has happened over the past month?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those unions are not going to back a Democrat,
especially
if Trump runs
unions.
and get all that running back again. He's going to earn every last one of their votes because they want to be able to feed their family.
Yeah, I mean, now they can't because half of 20,000 people now or 30,000 people now have lost their jobs.
Wow, they can't go find another job
because of strokes of pens.
Isn't that what they said?
Then you have people sitting up in Washington D.C. going, "Well, we can find other new green jobs for you."
Right.
I'm sorry, that's not the way that works.
No, it does not.
They live in la la land. I mean, it's not because they're Democrats. Republicans say stupid stuff like that too.
Yeah.
It's because they've been in D.C. for so long or around politics for so long. They don't understand that if somebody has been working the oil fields for 30 years and they get fired, they're not going to find another job like that because they're going to be making six-figure salaries. You're not going to get that.
I want to get into some comments before we get into HR 127, but I want Michael to look something up for me if he would. Can you tell me what Toomey's worth? Will it say? Can you tell me what he's worth? He's retiring in 2022.
It's like nickel, but
Well, I'm not plug Penny, but anyway, on the Reagan-Trump thing, when we did that little thing, who was better, sort of half and half. Our viewers said Reagan, half of them said Trump. That's choice right there. Both of them were definitely great presidents.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt about it. It's choice. Choice for me was Reagan. I grew up in that area. First time I could vote, voted for Reagan. And I seen the things that he did, and again, I seen the things that Trump did too. So
and to me, it boils down to two things. Donald Trump was the appropriate person for the time he was there.
Yes,
I prefer Ronald Reagan and the way Ronald Reagan was personality-wise, to what Trump was, because that type of person can sometimes go across the aisle and reach across the aisle and get people to do things.
And I was going to ask you that if you thought that maybe Reagan could do that better than definitely Trump could.
Well, the thing about Reagan was, if you watch, go back and watch footage of him.
Right,
Reagan was an absolute savage when he wanted to be, but he did not do it in the way Donald Trump did.
Right.
He did it with humor.
Right, he did. Yes, he did.
And you would find that these liberal news stations that he would do this on, you'd find them chuckling about it.
Yes,
because he was funny. He just he did it in a different way. They tried to get rid of Reagan just like they've tried to get rid of Trump. They did it with the Iran-Contra affair,
yes.
and they just. They said he was senile. They said he was going to start a war. They did
toward the end of his term he had dementia.
Sure. I mean, they did all sort of. He was just an actor.
Yeah.
I mean, they went on and on, and I'm sitting here going, you forgot what he did to you in California when he was the governor of California, which is basically barbecue you. But that's another story. I loved Ronald Reagan because Ronald Reagan did the same thing that Donald Trump did.
Right.
When he said he was going to do something, he did it.
Yes, he did.
And that, to me, is what a president should be. Now, I will say this. Joe Biden said he's going to do this mile-long list of stuff in this Communist Manifesto that reads like the Constitution of the USSR. I mean, you can find parts that they actually pulled from that whole communist document,
right,
and put into what they're doing now.
Right.
What he's doing is he's doing that too, but he's not doing that in a constitutional manner, and he can get on TV and say that all he wants to. What he's done is he's taking a pen and acting like a monarch and signing 40 plus executive orders, which is utter nonsense. We don't have a king. He does not have the power to do that.
No, he doesn't.
And Nancy Pelosi needs her rear end whipped because guess what? He's stripping her power, and so should Chuck Schumer, but they're not going to say anything because guess what? Anything for party line.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Anything for party line. So they're going to do all of this because they want this passed, and they're going to turn their head and go, you can have my power.
Right. Exactly.
You can have my power. An executive order is meant to enforce existing law. Is what an executive order is meant to do. When you strip people's rights to an actual contract they have for a pipeline, that is not existing law. And I don't care who says anything about that.
Byron, let me go. What you got for me?
All right, so interesting. Pat Toomey, who has actually had a rather roller coaster type of net worth. In 2018, which is the last numbers available, he ranked just above the mean salary or the mean value of the Senate.
Okay.
The senators on average, net worth was $1.5 million. He was $1.6 million. However, in the previous year of 2017, he lost 67% of his value. He went in 2018. He was at $2.8 million. In 2016, it jumped to $6.1 million.
See, this is yes. Keep going, Mike.
But in 2017, he dropped down to $5.4 million, and then he lost it all down to $1.6 million in 2018. That's the last numbers that are available. Whereas the senators, the mean number average for net worth of every senator has fluctuated between 1.8, 1.9 for the most part until you get to 2018 when there was a spike for everybody that put the mean value at $3 million. They've now dropped back down to 1.5.
I want to respond to
please.
To something real quick.
Yeah,
and I knew this was coming. Cassidy, you're saying that Donald Trump wasn't sitting anymore as a president, and that's why the Chief Justice didn't come to the impeachment trial.
Mm-hmm.
An impeachment trial is to remove a sitting president or a sitting elected representative. Right. That's what that's for.
Right.
I mean, it's in black and white. You can't twist that. I mean, you can, but I'm not going to listen to it if you do. I mean, that's what that's for. So, it wasn't an impeachment trial. Right. Period. You can call it what you want. You can say they can say what they want to do.
I know what it was. A waste of taxpayers' money.
$2.8 million worth, by the way. $2.8 million. We could have done something else with it.
Oh well, yeah. He could give it to a foreign country instead of giving it to us in a stimulus package.
Yeah.
It is how many? What was it? 7 trillion or $3.9 trillion. And if you do a breakdown of that and look at how much the people of the United States are getting from this, it is nowhere near the amount that's in that bill. Where is it all going? It's going to foreign countries, and it's going to nonsense is what it's doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, phone lines wide open, 904-458-7588. Byron is in his segment with the World News Report. Right along Mitchell Gunner, myself, David Rodgers. Again, phone lines wide open, 904-458-7588. I know we're going to get into this HR bill, Byron.
Yes.
But I do want to read a couple of comments here.
Sure.
That's well. By the way, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hello, Alvy! Alvy was sick this past weekend.
Oh, no.
Yes, he was.
Sorry to hear that. Hope you're feeling better, Alvy.
Yeah. So, Sarge said, just so you know, every year the Marines have the Marine Corps birthday ball. So does the Army and Navy. Now we have the Space Force. Guess what they will have every year? That's right, space balls. Only Sarge. You got to know Sarge. Good grief.
No, you have to know military people to understand that.
Yes, you do. Well, that's why I say you got to know Sarge. Reagan was a little before my time to remember much of his presidency, but I can say that I was one of those that was not a Trump fan when he first declared his intent to run, but I was quickly won over. Judith.
That's me.
Yep. Sharon Pettiprin, the model says Donald Trump. I understood, related to and agree with everything he said and did. Jesus. I'm great. So, Bart says, which I was back in Florida. It's a bit colder here in Louisiana. I'm sure it is, brother. You just heard the weather report. Chuck Smith, thank you for watching. Carissa says, the world is getting crazy. Lord, help our nation. Amen. Got to let him in first. Lydia Morris says hello to everybody, by the way. Kung Flu is the longest lasting thing made in China. Dadgum! Brother Dwight Allen, besides your ribs.
Man, I know you didn't come. Those don't come from China.
They definitely don't. Those come from right here in beautiful Bradford County.
There's only one thing I know that's lasted longer that's come out of China.
What's that?
Communism.
Oh boy!
And it really didn't originate in China.
No, it didn't. They just adopted it. Yeah.
After we saved them from the Japanese, we should have just let them. Never mind, I'll stop.
Joseph Sayers is on. David Theus. Yes, Eddie Sigmund's on. Bulldogs can be sweet and cuddly. Nancy Pelosi isn't capable of those feelings. Ooh. Dwight Allen. Oh, here we go. Oh, my goodness. Don't insult Bulldogs like that.
I knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming too. Somebody, and of course it's Dwight.
Well, I mean, I can't. No, I'll stop. You
better stop. You better stop.
Thinking off before I get us all in trouble.
Deanne Kirkland Gilbert, how are you? Let me see here. That was some guesses here. Dwight Allen, yeah, final answer, my foot. Linda Davis, I love Dwight, though.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see. Linda Davis, hey, hello, how are you? God bless Ron DeSantis. Trump DeSantis 2024, we talked about that.
I want him as the governor of governor for one more term. He needs to be this governor until something happens up in Washington D.C. And I want before we go any further, what I was hinting at is Governor DeSantis. I'm not going to use the words that Governor DeSantis used. There is a suspicion that they're denying, but they've called the governor and told him this, that they're going to cut travel in and out of Florida. The federal government is going to do that because of the way COVID's been handled.
Right.
The response that Governor DeSantis basically told them was, well, guess what? We're the 26th. We've had the 26th ranked in cases and deaths.
Right.
We're one of the largest states in the union. Compare them to New York and New Jersey, it's nothing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
They kept on and kept on and kept on, and he basically told them to go jump in a lake, just not that nice.
Yeah,
well,
he sure did.
It's basically unconstitutional.
It is. It's unconstitutional.
You
cannot stop movement in between the states of the citizens. You can't do it. Now, you can try to do it. That's going to be a problem because he's told them also that he was going to activate the National Guard to keep the federal government from doing that.
Mike, do you know Joey Fennell? Y'all know Joey Fennell. Joey Fennell lives in Tennessee. He called me the other day, right after trivia. You know what he said? Can y'all send y'all's governor up our way? We sure would love to have him up there. I'm hearing that from a lot of people.
Joey Fennell, it's got to be Nashville itself because
yes,
that's the only way the state of Tennessee votes blue. So, but I just wanted to go over that just a little bit because there are some things that are going on from a state level that will stop some of this nonsense that's going on. And when a governor of a state tells the President of the United States, if you try that, I will activate the National Guard to stop you, it's a pretty clear message that you might not want to mess with the governor of Florida. I thank you, sir, from the bottom of my heart. I am so glad you did that. Thank you.
I'm glad he's our dadgum governor, to be honest with you. Good grief, you couldn't ask for somebody else. Shirley Bagwell says, I thought this was a sane show.
It is.
Well, Governor Bagwell, you got my vote, brother.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, as long as I'm the Attorney General.
Yeah. Hey, you get your fork.
What about Lieutenant Governor?
I'm calling Mark Levin.
Okay, call him. Byron's father is making comments in my name. So Donnie, Dad, is making comments on Shirley Bagwell's thing.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, goodness. Let me see. You raise him right.
Okay, look. No, we do not need Cromwell inside of the United States.
No.
Sorry, Noah, no.
So
after he hung up on the president after he told him to go jump in the lake, just not in those words, because he actually used the words that you would use on the street to somebody you don't like.
Brother Michael, can I get that, please?
This?
Yes.
That right there?
That right there.
That right there.
Yes, please.
Right.
That one right there.
I'll get it for you.
You'll get it for me. No. I don't want one hand touching it.
Here we go. All right, guys. While they're messing around with this, I wanted to go over this a little bit.
Yes, please.
Because there is a bill in the House right now called H.R. 117. Please, 117 H.R. 127. Please go look this up. This is a monstrosity of a violation of our Constitution and of our rights. It is a firearms bill, and it is a bill that is basically to provide for a licensing of licensing of firearms and ammunition possessions, and the registry of firearms, and to prohibit the possessions of certain ammunition. Be it enacted by the state and a House of Representatives of the United States of America, the Section 1 short title, this act may be cited as the Sabaka Shaki Firearms Licensing and Registration Act.
Oh, sorry.
He's over here mesmerized by the cake.
Yes, he is, like we all are.
I'm actually taking a just so you know, I'm taking this bill. I have a summary sheet that is currently being uploaded to the on-the-spot page.
All right.
People can look at this after we get off the show.
The second is going to tell you about the licensing of firearm and ammunition possessions and registration of firearms. Okay? The general Chapter 14, Title 18, U.S. Code is amended to adding the following. Licensing of firearms and ammunition possession, registration. In general, the Attorney General through the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives shall establish a system of licensing the possession of firearms or ammunition inside the United States and for recognition with the Bureau of each firearm present in the United States. Okay. They're going to basically take the make, the model, the serial number of a firearm, the identity of the owner of the firearm, the date the firearm was acquired by the owner, and where the firearm is or will be stored. Did you hear that? Is and will be stored. And what they're going to do is they're going to track every single firearm inside of this country. My response to that is, not only no, but hell no. And I mean that. They will not have my information. You will make me an outlaw. Yeah. And you can try to come get me because you won't find me. I will disappear.
And that's why I don't buy guns at stores.
There you go. What you got, Mike?
What's interesting is that if you read into it, and I know you're going to get into this, but just the quick and dirty, as it were, like that one, they're also saying in this bill that you have 3 months to make this report.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not just taking your time.
Right.
If you don't report within 3 months, then you can be held criminally.
Yes.
Well, it's up to a fine of like $55,000 and 10 to 15 years in jail, or 10 to 13 years in jail. If you don't do that, I got news for you. You find me, but you'll find me in a place you won't like.
I agree.
And that's not a threat. You're not taking my guns. You're not registering my guns.
I tell you what, there's some places that you can hide them.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, see, here's the problem. They can find out if you have a registered gun, which lawful citizens do every day when they buy them in the gun stores, and they can come to your house under this bill and go, where is that firearm and why have you not registered it?
Oh, and you have to present it, and if you don't present it...
Who do you sell it to?
You go to jail. You go to jail.
Right. The other thing is it was stolen. Well, why didn't you make a police report?
Right.
I mean, you go to jail.
Yep.
That's tyranny. This is tyranny. The British tried this same crap in 1774, I believe it was. And you know what happened? We shot them.
Didn't work out too
well. No, it didn't.
So, just a word of advice. I am a pretty calm, cool, collected person when it comes to things in general, except when I talk about what our government tries to do. I get kind of hot when I do that. But there are people out there that make me look like I'm cool, calm, and collected all the time when you start trying to talk about taking away their guns. You are going to have an issue. The United States government is going to have an issue.
I have one question.
Okay.
And if you get to this later on, I'd like to know about that one. But I'd like to know, what is the details about the insurance policy that they're going to require you to purchase?
I don't know what all the details are about it, but
$800 annually?
It's $800 annually. I knew the answer to that. It's $800 annually, and I don't know what it's supposed to cover. And why you have to insure a firearm is beyond me, other than they want to collect money for it. There's also talk of taxes being included in this for every single firearm you own.
Well, I also heard...
You can't tax firearms. It's already taxed.
I don't know if it's true or not, but also I think in this bill they're going to have where you have to go for a psych bow.
Yes. You have to pass a criminal background check.
Yes.
Just like you do now.
Right.
And they're requiring you to have a psychiatric evaluation.
Every 3
and they're
years.
requiring 24 hours worth of firearms training.
And
They're also going to make it the gun manufacturers liable for the guns that they make.
Yes, they're trying. They're trying to make this has been going around. Mr. Stevens actually forwarded that particular one, and it's all in this bill. It's all taken directly from this bill.
But now you're also going to have law enforcement officers took an oath to the Constitution being sent out to take these people's guns away.
Which is not going to happen.
What's going to happen?
Definitely ain't happening in Bradford County.
Law enforcement officers getting killed over this.
Sure.
Where's that bill?
And I've heard also they're trying, if they can't get enough of that, they're trying to get the military to do the same thing.
Well, the military's not going to do that either because half of them are gun owners.
Oh, we got a call. All right. Hey, we got us a phone call, B.
Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. Who's on the phone?
I'm Donnie Bagwell.
Hello, Mr. Bagwell.
Mr. Bagwell. How are you, sir?
Tell David to remove the toothpick.
All righty. That's not a problem, Donnie.
See, he doesn't listen, and I get wrapped up.
Oh, I'm removing them. Yes, sir.
He's removing them and eating the icing off of them.
I'm removing them, sir.
And now we got Mitchell doing the same thing. Y'all are going to keep on with that. I can't eat and talk at the same time.
I've removed them, sir.
Dad, do you have a question besides remove the toothpicks?
All right. Don't let Mitchell get them cherries.
Don't let...
That went through so much.
Hey, Donnie, while I got you on the line, Mom says you guys will probably get fresh strawberries with chocolate delight dip when the fresh strawberries come in.
I can believe that.
Oh, my God. That's all I got to say to that.
Look, Dad, do you have a question about the firearms bill?
Dad, Donnie?
I think you were saying that you guys are getting the strawberries with chocolate on them.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Love you.
Love you, Dad. I really expected a question about the firearms bill from the command sergeant major. Sorry.
Yeah.
But,
oh, God.
Guys, look. The whole entire thing you need to go and read.
Yeah.
If you're my friend on Facebook, I've posted the whole entire bill directly from the Congress where it's coming out. You need to call your senators. You need to call your congressmen. You need to call your governors and your state representatives. And you need to tell them that if this passes, it doesn't need to, but if it does, we need to do something on the state level to stop the federal government from encroaching on our rights.
And I guarantee you that will happen here in the state of Florida, Oklahoma, and definitely Texas.
What Byron said, call your congressmen, call your senators, because they are trampling on your Second Amendment rights. I'm telling you right now, make sure that you do exactly what Byron and Mitchell says. Call somebody. Keep calling them until they get tired of hearing you. Somebody's going to get up off their ass and finally do something.
That's the scary part, is the Texas representative is the one that started.
Yeah, I know it.
But you're talking about Sheila Jackson Lee, is who you're talking about, who is about worthless. She is just about as worthless as that thing in California that's been there forever.
Hey, guys.
And you can take that as either one of those things from California. You can take it as Nancy Pelosi, or you can take it as well, I can't even remember her name now. She makes me so angry I don't even see her. So
we got an actual comment. Said all of us look great. Pepper Autistic said that, and there was somebody else that said that too. I want to propose something. Do you guys like us with the ties? We like it. It just makes it. You know what I mean? I just feel good wearing it. I don't get a chance to wear ties that often, so I mean, I really like that.
Before we go any further,
yes,
could you do me a favor? Could you pull the 202 number up for the Congress real quick, please?
Oh yeah, he'd love to do that.
Because Judy Young Sally has actually asked for that number. I've put it multiple times on Facebook. We're gonna put it up here in just a second. And you can call them, please call them, and tell them that this bill, the H.R. 127, needs to be canceled. This Firearms Bill Act is a violation of the Second Amendment.
Trampling all over it.
People can say what they want to.
Shall not be infringed.
Here's the thing. The English language is being trampled all over, too, because guess what? I'm going to tell you straight up. The definition of arms is guess what? Besides this.
Right.
Guess what the definition of arms is? It is weaponry. It does not say anything about automatic weapons. Well, they didn't have automatic weapons. Guess what? Yes, they did. Mm-hmm. Thomas Jefferson owned one that was made in Austria.
Yep.
You can go back and look that up. They meant for us to have whatever weapon we needed to defend ourselves against tyranny. And that's from our own government. That's what they meant.
Sarge said... and we're about just a little bit, because I'm trying to get some of these comments before we go. Sarge says, has anyone gotten the vaccine, experienced any side effects?
Nope.
Not that I know of. Do you?
I know
anybody?
People who have, but I haven't personally.
I'm not going there. Yes, I do know.
Okay, so we do have somebody that knows. I don't know of any.
There's been people that have died from it, by the way.
Yeah.
There's people who got it, and then 2 weeks later they had COVID.
Yeah. We should tell COVID to mess with Chuck Norris. Yeah, imagine that. Heard that it thickens the blood and causing strokes. We've heard that too.
That's exactly what it does.
Capital switchboard, if you look right here.
Okay, here it comes.
Here it comes. It's 202-224-3121. The Capital switchboard. Light that thing up. 202-224-3121. It's on your screen right there. Grab that number, program it in, and call it as many times as you can, Byron, because I believe persistency will finally wake somebody up and said, I've had enough. Let's get this thing taken care of because the American people have spoken.
I know people who are Democrats who own guns that will not support this.
No.
This is tyranny is what this is.
Also, if you want to contact your representatives or your senators up in Washington, D.C., all you got to do is put their name in and ask for their phone number, and it will give you the phone number to their office. So you can call that office direct.
Yeah, and Google. I mean, you can do that with the state representative, in the governor's office too. You can do that, or we can pull that number up and get that number to you guys in the next episode. Because there's still stuff I want to talk about in this bill. Because it is a literal violation of the Second Amendment.
I'll tell you what, hey, this has been a great show, guys. Yes, I've got a lot of comments about the cake, of course. Cake, Albie wants some. Everybody wants some. I tell you, Miss Shirley
Mom's going to end up baking for Stark is what she's going to
pretty much so. Yeah. Y'all guys have been great. We've got a lot of great comments here. I promise you we will try to get to all of these. Only so limited in time. But we will try to get some of these comments as soon as we can, or maybe onto our next show. Remember, we do have a sports show coming up on Saturday. Sort of a wide open show. If you watched it, Michael Heater filled in for the two gentlemen that are sitting beside me. We had a great show. Michael, we talked sports. We talked a little of everything, didn't we?
Yeah.
We brought some politics in, some news in.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of everything. It was wide open.
It started off as a Saturday sports show and turned into a Saturday free-for-all, which is what we like.
Yes.
We had a lot of great interaction with the audience, and that's what we encourage. We've got email. You can send us a message on the spot, 32091@gmail.com. What was that? I said.
Yeah, please.
On the spot, 32091@gmail.com. You can send us a text on the telephone number. That telephone number is 904-458-7588. If you call and we don't answer, you can go right in, send us a text, send us a message, whatever you want to do. We will make sure we get your comments to the guys here and get those answers that you are looking for.
Boy, I tell you what, my gosh, I could sit here. The comments are just flowing. Guys, I am so very sorry. You guys are wonderful. We're going to go back and watch the show. We're going to catch some of these comments. We'll write them down, and we'll see if we can get some answers for you. I promise you that. Man, I'm telling you, Dave, it was a great show. They're just still steady flowing. But, Byron, thank you for that world report tonight, brother.
You're welcome.
You're right on spot. You're right on time with it.
I've got,
and we got a lot more to go.
I've got enough to go over for the next 2 or 3.
Maybe we can hit a little on Saturday along with the sports.
We'll see how much time we have.
Let's see what happens.
I need to. My blood pressure needs a break every once in a while.
Absolutely. So we got to go to some sports. The team will be back with final thoughts right after this message.
Fun Point. Tonight's Final Thoughts with David Rodgers brought to you by Fun Point Food and Arcade, 1100 South Walnut Street in beautiful Stark, Florida. Fun Point is an all-in-one arcade and restaurant that is bound to raise your spirits, are sure to please your taste buds, and the games will keep you entertained for hours. Fun Point Food and Arcade, 1100 South Walnut Street in Stark. Feel free to give them a call at 904-966-3380. Make a point to visit Fun Point.
Welcome back, guys. It's really been a great show. I want to thank all of our viewers, all of our guests that was on tonight, our call-ins. Thank you very much. This show's about for you guys. This show's about you. Hey, any subject, any topic, anything that you want to talk about, please don't hesitate. As Mike said, call in the phone number, 904-458-7588. On the spot, 32091 at gmail.com. What was that, Michael? What was that again?
Yeah, it's on the spot, 32091 at gmail.com.
And hey, leave whatever it is. We would love to get some topics from you guys on that Gmail so we can research it and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Byron, Mitchell, it don't always have to be about politics.
No.
It don't have to be about sports. You may be having music. A personal... Yes, we can talk music. How about if you're having a personal issue or personal problem, something that's bothering you? We would love to talk about that. Like you said, man, we get so focused into this, and we want to pound, and then we want to break. Let's talk about something else. I would love for somebody to come up with a topic about anything. Relationships. Hey, what do you? How do you exercise? Whatever it is. Hey, we would love to hear from you.
After we eat that,
I'm exercising my hand into that cake.
That's a good topic.
This is a good topic here. It's always a good topic because the last 8 comments is cake.
And where can they get one of those at?
Well, no, David, you ain't getting me in trouble.
No.
No way you're getting me in trouble. No. He was getting me.
We're not volunteering.
He was getting me to bite.
Mom, no, that we're not volunteering you. I promise you.
Now, to be fair.
Oh, here we go.
All right, here we go.
For those of you that are interested in getting cakes, you can reach out to the chef. She will be providing these cakes available to you between February 29th and February 31st.
Well, look, I just
at $2,500 a piece.
I just like to let everybody know that one of our future topics is going to be David Rodgers making a cake.
Oh, how about that, huh?
I'm not eating it.
Oh, I bet you will because you don't know who's helping me with it. That's an Asian. No, it isn't. That's an Asian something. Anyway, that was final thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. No, I wouldn't go. I was going to go there, and I'm not. Erica Anders. Hey, on Saturday night. Well, I think we're going to have the weightlifting girls come in too for a few minutes right beforehand since we got that spot open. They want to talk about their accomplishments, and we're going to give them that time. So as we wrap up tonight, we want to thank our sponsors and everyone who tuned in. And remember, we're on the spot, so you can be too. Good night, everybody. We'll see you Saturday night. God bless you guys.
Good night, everybody.
Boy, that cake looks terrific.
Always does.
Man.
Wow, look at that, gentlemen. I know the audience is looking at us going, hello.
Y'all are killing
me. I know it, man.
I need a knife and a fork.
Yes, we do. So, all right, ladies and good night.